I am out in my garden today, and these are achacha cucumbers. I have a number of them coming up. It's going to be a great year to have these again. It's been a while since I've grown these. My life has been kind of crazy over the last couple of years, and I haven't just kept up with these, but these always have been proven to be a very popular seed that we grow. It's an amazing cucumber. This is the Bolivian, South American achacha cucumber. It's got all the spines on it. It's a fantastic conversation piece to put in your garden. It's amazing. So I'm growing these again this year. I have a trellis and arbor for them to crawl up on, and we're going to produce a lot of seed, and I will sell that to you guys when the time is right sometime this fall. The achacha cucumber. Hey guys, welcome to the Homestead. So today we're going to talk about these solar power generators. These are lithium iron phosphate generators, not the lithium ions. There's a difference. Lithium iron phosphate. They're a much more stable battery solar power generator system. And I have been talking about the Oupes brands for probably, I guess, over a year now, maybe a year and a half, 2 years. And other brands as well, but I really like the Oupes. And the reason for that is because of their consistency. They're always putting out new products. They're always going back to the drawing board and figuring out new ways to do things, to make things more efficient, to come out with new, different benefits for their systems. So I've talked about the Mega 3. I've talked about some of these more medium-sized Oupes generators. And today we're going to talk about this Exodus version. This is the Exodus 600 by Oupes. And it really gives you a very entry-level system. But this could be something, even though it's small, people say, oh, well, it's great for powering cell phones or maybe your laptop. I'm going to give you two different communication potential uses for this device. Even though it's small, it can come in really handy in a grid down, off-grid situation. Stick with me. Now this first system here, the Mega 3, now this is a powerhouse. Something like this, or they even have the Mega 5. This could run an entire house, and they make these in a way where you can daisy chain them with other power units that they sell and really power an entire house and have all the comforts of home. Now this uses something more for like, your refrigerator. You want to keep your food cold during a power outage, or maybe even a small freezer. This could work well for that. Also with other peripheral devices. But we're going to get down and dirty with this one. I'm going to show you some amazing things this can do in a grid down emergency situation. Now I have seen a number of reviews online about this unit and other units that are similar in size, and they always go over the same thing. It can charge your cell phone, or it can maybe power a small refrigerator for a certain amount of time, or it could power your laptop or your drone. All of those things, sure, it could do all those things. But let me talk about things that matter to probably my audience. Two things. So the first one is going to be communications, radio communications. You can take this thing, plug this into a mobile unit that we have set up as a base station in your home. And you have your own external antenna set up, but you can use this as a base station power supply inside your home. And it works fine with my GMRS or ham radio setups that I have here. So the grid goes down, you have no electricity, your cell phones aren't working, but now you have a power supply that you can use for your ham radio setup. You'll be able to reach out, based on, how tall your antenna is. The biggest thing when it comes to radio communications is your antenna. So you have to have a good antenna. But the power supply is pretty important, because if you don't have a way to power your radio, you're not going to be able to reach out and touch anybody or talk to anybody or listen to what they're saying. So, number one, ham radio communications, GMRS communications, any sort of communications radios, this would be able to do that. It's one thing to plug in your AM, FM radio and listen to whatever's on there, but it's another thing to be able to power a GMRS or ham radio base station and be able to use it to talk to others and listen about what's going on out there in the world. Number one, very important. The second thing that I have noticed over the years, and I even noticed when I was living in the city, that a lot of times when your power goes out, if you're connected to the grid, your internet is fine. Your internet's still working. It's, a DSL line, it's a phone line, because a lot of times, when I grew up, there was times where we lost power, but the phone, when you picked up the receiver, you could still hear a dial tone. Well, that's the same way it is today. If you're on fiber optics, at least I'm on fiber optics, you probably have a power supply that comes into your home at some point from that fiber optic terminal that you have on your home, and that's using the home power to get that line connectivity. Well, what I've discovered over the years is that if the power goes out, because I've had actually even recently in the last year or two, there's been a couple times where my inverter needs to be reset. Something happened, there's a hiccup or whatever, and I'll go and reset my inverter. But at the time I'm out without power, and I'm trying to look through, the product description and go through the manual that I have on my phone, or be able to download that, or need internet access for something, and I don't have internet access because my power's down. What you can do, and even you guys in the city, is you take a unit like this and you plug in your router and you plug in the power supply for your fiber optic line, the AT&T or whoever else, supplies. You plug that power supply into here, and all of a sudden you don't have power, but you've got internet again. You have a way to get out and talk to the world. A lot of people don't know that, but a small unit like this can do that. I have done it. So, communications, ham radio, GMRS radio, being able to listen what's going on out there in the world on the airwaves, and then also emergency internet communications that will still power your router, still power your fiber internet, and be able to, even though you're off the grid and the grid's down, it's not working, you can still get out there on internet land. For a unit like this, a small unit, that will power that router for hours, because routers don't take a lot of energy. Fiber optics don't take a lot of energy. They just need a power supply at the termination point of your home to be able to run that line. And so you can do that for a long, I haven't tested it, but it'd be a long time. So 2 great ways for you to be able to use a unit like this. And if you get some of the bigger stuff from Oupes that they offer, you could do things like I've done and showed you before in my past videos, freezers, refrigerators, all kinds of different things, emergency medical supplies, whatever you might need, emergency medical gear, things like that you can use, even a whole home, depending on how you have it rigged up, especially their Mega 5 unit that Oupes offers. Listen, if you want information on this stuff, you can go to my website at AmericanHomestead.com. Right over on the right-hand side, there is a banner ad for Oupes where you can click on, and it'll take you right to their website, and you can learn all about their latest offerings. Again, one of the reasons I like this company is because they do keep up to date. They're always improving on their units. They realize, okay, the public wants this feature, and so they implement that feature. Now, let me just give you my opinion on all of these companies that offer units like this. They all of them overstate their capabilities. So when you actually test these things, if you watch some of these channels that actually get down into the nitty gritty and they push these things to their limits, they find out that their limits are not what they are advertised at. All these companies lie. They're all a bunch of liars. But what they don't lie about is, that they actually do work. And I have been using this company for over probably a year and a half, 2 years now, and they have come through, and I've used them on multiple occasions, and they always perform very well. And so, and I've reviewed a number of other brands too. They all work mostly pretty good too. And they all overstate what their capabilities are. However, they do work. And in a grid down situation, in an emergency situation, I absolutely see the value in something like this. And I'm not the only one who promotes these. You'll see a lot of other homesteading, prepping channels. I've seen Wrangler Star promote stuff like this. I've seen the Goshen family promote stuff like this. There's all kinds of homestead channels out there, prepping channels that promote these because they see the value in something like this should the power go out. Again, if you want more information, I highly recommend going to my website at AmericanHomestead.com. You can click on the banner ad, and then if you do buy something through that banner ad link, it does help the homestead. I do get a little bit of a kickback on this. But when it comes to stuff like this, I see the value, and that's why I'm trying to share these things with you. I think, listen, here's another thing I'm going to just kind of talk to you about. I got news alerts today that silver and gold are going through the roof again. The reason is because your dollar is losing value. Do not keep your money in the bank when you could be putting that towards assets and things that you could be using in the future because you know what we all know was coming. It's going to happen. Don't let that money sit in the bank. It's going to be worthless. We are in the very beginning stages of hyperinflation. We've all gotten on that boat. That ticket has been punched and we're all going to be there for the ride. Don't ignore this. If you have, prepare now. This is something that I think is worthwhile in preparing for, and that's why I promote it on my channel. I try to stay away from a lot of garbage out there. I do not push a lot of the stuff on my channel that people approach me for. Something like this, absolutely. I hope you see the value too. I'm not just trying to blow smoke up your butt. Okay. PerfectPickler.com. Got to throw that out there. I had to find some kind of stand to put this on so it'd be in camera view. So I'm like, oh, where am I going? Oh, I put the Perfect Pickler on there. PerfectPickler.com. All right, guys. Love y'all. See you next time in the Homestead. Bye. Have you ever gone to a health food store and seen all those small bottles of probiotics in your cooler section? Man, can they be pricey. Are you really getting all you need to improve your gut health from those expensive bottles? How viable are they? Most of those products claim to give you between 8 and 15 strains of gut-healthy healing bacteria. Think of each strain of bacteria as a different factory in your gut. Each factory is responsible for breaking down that food in its own way. The more factories you have, the more the food is broken down and the easier the food is absorbed and digested by the body. A 2018 study published by the National Library of Medicine shows that one fermented head of cabbage can produce up to 114 strains of beneficial bacteria. That's a lot more food factories than you're getting from that expensive pill bottle. And that's just cabbage. Imagine the probiotics when you add garlic, onions, pepper, and more to that ferment. PerfectPickler.com and its home fermentation kits provide you with everything you need to get started making your own gut-healthy food factories from the comfort of your own kitchen. PerfectPickler.com even provides a jam-packed recipe book with many of our kits. Visit PerfectPickler.com and start fermenting your own veggies to begin your journey to better gut health. That's PerfectPickler.com. Hey guys, did you know you can become a patron of an American Homestead? They get access to private videos, and we send them gifts from the Homestead that we make here on the Homestead. And we also enter our patrons into special giveaways that are only available to them. And before you go, please check out these other great videos. Go ahead, click. I'll wait.